A common phrase I hear tossed around fairly often is modern anime is trash, which isn't totally wrong. There is more anime being produced in any given season than say 10 to 20 years ago, so yes, in comparison, there is indeed more bad anime than back when maybe you started watching anime, or in the years where your favorite shows like Cowboy Bebop came out. However, I'd argue there's more good anime being made as well, not just that there is worse anime. For some, this is a well duh moment, and others this might sound the alarms and you might want to say that my opinions are indeed shit. Which they very well may be to many, but hear me out at least. I could find something to enjoy from really any year, but all throughout 2017 I was constantly impressed by the sheer number of new anime I was watching that I didn't just enjoy, but thoroughly loved so much that many became new favorites. From returning hits like My Hero Academia, March Comes In Like a Lion and Attack on Titan, to one-off fun adventures like Blend S and Girls Last Tour, I was seeing more and more anime that were either ending conclusively, or completely different from the template many studios were using. Obviously, as someone only likes a single genre, say possibly a mecha, sure 2017 may have been a dry year for you, but as someone who loves nearly all genres in anime, this was a fantastic year. From great romances like Just Because and Recovery of an MMO Junkie, that both in their own way took the formulas that we have seen before, like the overused high school romance love that somehow felt new and interesting and ended in a fitting way for the characters. MMO Junkie having a NEET as its main character, but not trying to portray her life as, hey kid, drop out of school and work and just play games all day, it's great, but more of this girl isn't in the healthiest of lifestyles, but we're going to keep it lighthearted and fun as we fix this issue. Tsukigakure turning heads all season as it nailed the awkwardness of teenage love. As well, you had the smash hit for Comedy Suridari Children that, like the previously mentioned Tsukigakure, nails that teenage awkwardness but uses a multitude of perspectives to tell one of the funniest and charming collection of stories in the year. Taking a World War setting, having some tropes most modern day anime fans like, but actually delivering a compelling story with interesting and unique characters in Saga of Tanya the Evil. 2017 kept hitting me over the head with so many anime that I either remembered even after the season ended, or became new favorites. You had a show about monster girls that wasn't just a fetish-based show, but actually a well thought out character study about how people who are different struggle in their school life in their own way, and kick the ass to all these other monster girl shows just trying to get the viewer horny. Granted, it did have a succubus trying to do that, but that's her character, damn it. We had Suka, may not be talked about much anymore, but damn if that wasn't a fun and emotional ride. Far from perfect, but the payoff at the end with how excellent the build-up was made these final moments breathtaking. And I feel like we haven't had too many anime recently trying to hit the viewer with a ton of emotions, so it was nice to see a fairly well produced one pop up in the spotlight for a few months. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid had a lot of aspects in the general designs that make people roll their eyes, but it was an extremely well written slice of life about a family who doesn't quite work in theory, but in execution becomes one of the most heartwarming and loving bunch of weirdos you'll see in 2017. Kyoto Animation delivered a series that the meme community loved, but so did really everyone else. Main Abyss gives you the most unique setting in recent memory. You all probably watched it, so I don't need to go past that statement. The Ancient Magus' Bride delivering a character who dealt with abuse and neglect her entire life, and the buildup of her becoming her own person has some of the best character writing for its main lead in recent memory, and best of all, it's continuing into the winter 2018 anime season. Inuyashiki, a story from the creator of Gantz, throwing two characters into alien bodies, one using it for good and the other evil, actually shows why the antagonist does the evil shit that he does instead of just, I'm bad and want to be bad. It's refreshing having characters who you explore their psyche and not just the good guys. Sure, there are stupid points to the show, but it doesn't change that the content that it did right, it really did it right. You may notice some ridiculous amount of police forces not acting intelligent, but if you remove that, it becomes an insanely wild ride that I'll be remembering for quite some time. We even have the return of the so dumb it's great show Konosuba. Granted, it really needs a season 3 that we probably won't get, but damn do I hope we get that season 3, but still, I like the group of idiots and it was nice to see this return. Then I'll see people say, only a few good shows last year, overall 2017, pretty mediocre. This probably stems from a more narrow preference of not liking all types of anime and only liking a select few, so I could understand if there is only a few anime in 2017 you might have enjoyed, but for those like me who like to try a multitude of anime, I think this was a pretty damn good year. David Production took a bit of a break from doing JoJo and instead did a very dialogue heavy but fantastically written anime, Sagaraga Reset, where each and every episode minus one really is important for for the endgame it's building up to. Instead of relying on overly flashy or cheap tricks, it's all about the writing, and by the time you get to the end, your jaw should be on the floor. A criminally underrated show. Many in the community disliked the show, but by the time it wrapped up, those who finished it seemed to all thoroughly appreciate the ride. And yes, this is a more select taste, but 2017 offered so much for so many different types of fans. You even get your waifu in the real world show with the recreators. That was actually a pretty interesting and unique setup that you probably thought would be generic and boring. Yet anime characters brought to life interacting with their creators trying to save the world, and also there is a mecha, so go nuts, mecha fans. Even a show like Blend S that was tropey actually made fun of itself at times and was just a fun show overall that wasn't that offensive. Chinese cartoons took the spotlight for a bit and delivered The King's Avatar, a show that did esports so damn well, it currently is my favorite video game animated series to date, and I can't wait for its sequel. You have Land of the Lustrous turning heads with its solid writing and also its use of 3D that made more people say, you know, maybe this 3D thing isn't so bad after all. Hell, we even had smaller, more niche shows like Alice and Zorku, which was basically 2 shows in one, and it actually had a pretty great ending. Delivered both an action and slice of life show with a cast dynamic that was completely different than what we typically see, focusing more on a grandfather and granddaughter-like relationship, and at times it was action-packed and at others it was just downright sweet. I could keep going on with shows like Gabrielle Dropout, Little Witch Academia, but I think I'll stop here. I like 2017 a lot for anime, if you can't tell. The point I'm trying to make here is if you just watch The Made in Abyss or the My Hero Academia, sure, it might seem like any given year is pretty meh. I mean, look at the year Bebop came out, the golden age of anime as some like to put it. But if you look at all the stuff you never heard about from that same year, it's because it was just as forgettable as the trash that we get in any given season. Okay, sometimes it is worse in modern day, but you get the point. When I look at what I want to watch in any given season, I don't really have a preference, I just want something that isn't a rehash, and if it is, it has to be a parody of it in some way, shape, or form, maybe change it up slightly enough, or just do something to make it its own. Be it a new idea or an existing one, but instead of just trying to be the same high fantasy show, give me morally great characters like Rage of Bahamut Virgin Soul. I think it's easy to follow the memes and say modern anime is trash, but a lot of people forget that even though there is more anime being made than ever, there is still better anime being made as well. And if you do have a more limited taste for anime, be it only one style or genre, of course older anime is going to look better because you could probably find 30 given shows right now that are going to fit your more narrow taste, and that's great. But a lot of people, be it for a joke or if they're serious, want to try and talk down to people who just want to enjoy a new hit of the season, or to some might be a new favorite for them. There definitely are bad years in anime, ones where only a few series stick out down the line, but I don't think 2017 was one of those years, and truthfully the past few years has quite a few memorable shows, and I think if more people just tried stepping outside their comfort zone, not just trying the flavors of the season, but the ones that maybe you only hear a few people praising, but the praise is exceptionally high, you'll find more styles of anime you actually enjoy. That's what I personally did. I never enjoyed romance anime, but in 2013 I tried a couple and bam, it opened so many doors to new and exciting anime. Granted, it also got me to try some really bad anime that I wish I could burn from my brain, but take the bad with the good. Really, I just wanted to make a video highlighting some of my favorite anime from last year without doing it in the traditional top 10 list, so there you go. Modern anime is indeed shit, but it is also great. No matter the year, you'll have your ups and downs, but if you ever find yourself feeling burnt out of anime and feel like there's just no coming back after seeing things like Eromanga Sensei, instead of just following the memes, just try some of the less talked about anime in that year. They might not be avoided because they're bad, but maybe just because memes have just gotten too out of hand. It's easy to get swept away in the moment. The only anime you should watch is the one with the highest comments per episode discussion posts, and sometimes the anime that do get massively popular or produce the spiciest of memes are the gems of the season and year, but too many get swept under the rug after the end, or they just don't get a sequel. But luckily last year produced a shit ton of anime that either will continue with more seasons or movies, or just had a great stopping point. But let me know some of your favorites from 2017 down in that comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button to show your support, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you like what you see here and you want to help support what I do, also consider heading on over to my Patreon if you so wish. So until next time everyone, please take care and you all have a good one.